Is this the time to buy or sell Litecoin? First off, read this disclaimer carefully. And do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So we are 8% from the 52-week low, but a whopping minus 81% away from the 52-week highs. So that is pretty substantial bear market. Here is Litecoin's website. Buy a Litecoin. Easily purchase Litecoin with your credit/debit card. $50,000 to $20,000. Yeah. Very, good at, promoting the coin in that sense. It's very like direct. So yeah, let's just jump into the charts. So these are weekly data points, big picture, and we have fallen down to a level that the bulls, they should be able to do something, because we have support back here. Here is a bit of a cluster, multiple weeks of support. Here a cluster as well, and also back here. So this is an opportunity. Now we have fallen a lot. We have almost retraced this entire rally. So let me just draw it in. So almost this entire rally has now been completely and utterly retraced. That is bad. We see that during previous bear markets like this one, you see this sell-off. It almost completely like retraced the rally beforehand. So looking at the history, also looking here as well, frankly, we have fallen down to a level that has a tendency to form lows when it comes to like rallies being retraced. Obviously, this kind of volatility is not in any way suited for something that tries to be a coin. If you want to be a currency, then you obviously cannot have over 80% weakening of a currency. That doesn't work, especially not in such a short time. But as an investment, as speculation, this is interesting. Looking at daily data points, we are, it's just more and more of a nuanced picture of what we saw on the weeklies. So let's look at these indicators here. Looking at RSI, the previous time we had this RSI level, that is back here. So let's zoom in a bit here on both of these to do it like this. So here you have the same RSI level. If you bought here, so let's just hypothetically speaking, so let's say that you just bought the RSI. So you bought here. Yeah, it would be here. Yeah. Then you might have minus 6-ish% sell-off, but then you would have 460% rally. So from an RSI and PPO perspective, and the PPOs, they measure the difference between price and various of these moving averages here to the left. This is interesting. We are very much at a level that has been very good for bulls in the past. Looking at daily data points, we have been below the current RSI level before, but more often than not, we are above. Similar message with the PPOs. So let's go to the laboratory. So so we do have horizontal support like that, and we also have something that one could call retracement pattern like that. Yeah, this is interesting. So I do think I will give the bulls, I give them a cautiously optimistic 4. This is interesting. This is an opportunity. So I do think that the bulls have an edge over the bears here. So let's look at the seasonality. So to the right here, we do have the average data over the last 5 years in green and 7 years in blue. So the problem for the bulls is that the seasonality does weaken towards the 31st of July. To the left here, over the last 5 years, June is a very bad month. We only close higher 20% of the time, meaning we close lower 80% of the time. over the last 10 years, June is a mess because on the one hand, we only close higher 33% of the time, but we do have an average 8.6% gain. So it's yeah, it's a month that is more bearish than bullish. Yes, I do think I will give yeah, I will give the bears a -3 here. They do have something that is quite favorable to them. I don't think there are any fundamentals when it comes to cryptocurrencies, at least not that are informative, so let's jump right to relative performance. Here are some correlations. So we do have 90% with the S&P. No, we should start with weekly data points. 71% with the S&P 500, 89% with Bitcoin, and 76% with Ethereum, -56% with the dollar index. Daily data points, then we do have 91% with S&P 500, 93% with Bitcoin, and 93% with Ethereum, and -79% with the dollar index. So looking short and long term, the strongest correlation we do get is with Bitcoin. So let's do a quick technical analysis of Bitcoin. So here is, the big picture. I mean, we have lost very important horizontal support for Bitcoin. You can see also, if you zoom in a bit here, looking at the candlestick for this week, it is trying to close below the previous weeks. That is not good. Though, again, when we look at RSI, we're not at a level that is really that favorable to the bears either. Let's zoom out a bit. The previous time we had this level, it was back here. Let's zoom in. Okay, I think we just have to zoom in here to get a bit of an accurate reading. So this is the level, and this was a good time to turn bullish on Bitcoin. Also back here, this was in 2018, so let's find that as well, like that. As this RSI level is here. That was also a very good time to turn bullish on Bitcoin. So we are very oversold, we just are. Looking at the daily data points, we do have some horizontal support here on the dailies. So the bulls, they have some opportunity here to, I mean, they must use this opportunity, because if the bears close below these support levels, then we really can see panic in the market. Here is the relationship between Litecoin and the Bitcoin. So Litecoin, it has substantially underperformed the Bitcoin. Looking at RSI, we have fallen down to a level in this relationship that usually leads to some mean reversion in favor of Litecoin. So that's interesting. The RSI is here, and the trend is pretty clear vis-a-vis these low levels. That's interesting. When we go here to the daily data points, yeah, so the seasonality here going into early July, it usually is a period where Litecoin outperforms Bitcoin over the last 5 and 7 years. That's bullish. Now I am looking at Bitcoin versus the Nasdaq. So in this case, we might potentially have something a bit double bottom-ish here. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an opportunity here for some outperformance from Bitcoin. Yeah, let's look a bit here at the seasonality. Does it corroborate what we saw here? No, it does not. So the seasonality here is very favorable to Nasdaq. So Bitcoin has a strong tendency to underperform the Nasdaq here, leading into the 10th of July. I see that we have some time left. So let's quickly conclude here, and then we will look at some other stuff. We saw some very interesting things here, so I do actually think I will give Litecoin a 5 here on relative performance. So we do end up with a 2 in favor of the bulls. The key thing here is horizontal support. So this is very interesting for Litecoin. At least this is a great opportunity for the bulls, which they definitely should use. If they are not able to use it, and if we do see a breakdown in Bitcoin, that will be very, very bad. But hopefully, the bulls will jump off the fence and get into these securities in a big way, because they really need it at this point. So this is very critical. So we have time to do some quick technical analysis of various stocks. So let's just look at some, okay, not Bitcoin or Litecoin related stocks, but sort of like in the same investor sentiment box, I guess. So here is Netflix, completely just bludgeoned, very oversold for sure. Previous times we have been at these levels, it has been an opportunity for the bulls. But that is, purely just technically. So let's look at Tesla. Elon Musk, talks a lot about cryptos. Yeah, so Tesla has lost, the 100-week moving average here. We are at interesting RSI levels, but not like screaming buy. Daily data points. It's a bit messy, frankly. Let's look at Twitter. What is happening with that stock? In all likelihood, it will be acquired. The big debate around bots, it is very important, because something many people have experienced, in terms of advertising on Twitter, is that you get very bad return on ad spend. It just is not a good platform. In all likelihood, there actually are quite a few bots, because you can get a bunch of engagement on Twitter, but it's just odd, when you have, tweets, with hundreds of likes, but almost no comments, like at all. That's a bit strange, because that's the easiest way to differentiate, a bot from a human. That is, that the comments, they make sense. There's something, they respond to the actual tweet. And from an advertiser perspective, of course, the clear sign that you're dealing with a human is that they don't simply follow the link, but they also do something interesting on your website. But yeah, here is Twitter, and it certainly has fallen down quite a bit. So yeah, I do certainly understand why Elon wants to get a lower price. Let's look at space. So Virgin Galactic Holdings. It is below the IPO level, the lows here from back in 2019 as well. So definitively very much bearish sentiment. Long term, I'm definitely bullish when it comes to space exploration, but I also like to make money on my investments, so I'm not a huge fan of buying without a strong thesis. Yeah, but we do have something a bit rounding bottomish, but nothing screaming, not like strongly bullish so far. Let's look at Coinbase. Coinbase Global. Wow, okay, it's not going it's going pretty poorly for Coinbase, making new lows. Yeah, this is a rather bearish chart. Yeah, so those were quite a few securities. So yeah, in terms of Litecoin here, interesting stuff. And if you want to get other info, then just go to DiamondArm.com.